Welcome to Good Revenue. I'm your host, Neetha Bidway. Today, we're going to talk about the AI energy trap, content wars, and trade surrender. First, subscribe to the feed if you haven't. You'll always find links to everything we talk about in the show notes. Thank you for joining us. First up, the AI energy trap. Electricity demand just blew through a huge swath of demand forecasts. The U.S. Energy Information Administration, that's the EIA, says electricity consumption will break record highs in 2025 and 2026. It echoes an April finding from the International Energy Agency. Yes, those are the same letters. No, it's not confusing. EIA also revised downward its guidance for 2025 and 2026 for U.S. GDP growth due to concerns about trade and global economic pressures. We can expect to see lower gas prices this summer, but unfortunately, we will also see higher electricity prices due to the rising price of natural gas. So what's driving all the demand? That would be data centers. Energy usage used to be pretty flat, but since COVID, things have changed dramatically. Here's some of the data. ChatGPT searches consume 5 times the amount of energy as a regular Google search, according to MIT. They also emit 10 to 20 times more carbon dioxide. So that's a huge burgeoning climate problem. Emissions from Amazon, Microsoft, Meta, and Alphabet rose 150% since 2020. AI's energy appetite is expected to rival and surpass the country of Japan by 2030. This is wild too. One AI data center uses as much energy as 100,000 households. And the expectation is that in the future, larger data centers will take more than 20x that amount of energy. AI growth is fundamentally tied to energy and water. Tech companies have already spent $400 billion on AI, as we talked about in last week's episode. So this is something they are deeply committed to. MIT reports that Google alone plans to spend $75 billion on AI infrastructure in 2025. The thing is, energy infrastructure may not keep pace with all of this demand unless we get more innovation. And there is a little bit of good news on that front coming in from California. California's installed battery capacity increased from just 500 megawatts in 2018 to 16,000 megawatts this year. Batteries actually supply 30% of California's energy during peak times, according to The Economist. So maybe this federalism experiment has a few payoffs here and there. Energy isn't the only supply problem. AI companies built everything on IP. It just wasn't theirs. So we have 2 stories for you. Disney and Universal sued AI tool Midjourney this week to block the release of its video service, which was intended to happen later this month. The court filings don't look great for Midjourney, and that is because their CEO has been prolific in the news with quotes like this. They grab everything they can without permission. They dump it in a huge file and set it on fire. And I quote. The thing is, this ingestion process is not unique to Midjourney, and we have talked about this before in prior episodes. It's pretty common across most AI models. They train on copyright without the IP holder's permission. So if that IP pipeline disappears, tech is going to have to give some real thought to the business model and the tech. This isn't the only seismic IP shift coming. We have a zero-click problem. Google's recently announced AI mode gives direct answers to users, which is great for all of us as regular people, but it's a real challenge for publishers. Publishers allowed Google to crawl their content for free in exchange for referral traffic, and that bargain is breaking. AI companies always assume that there would be an everlasting supply of IP for ingestion, but it's possible that that may not be the case and that they're in the process of choking off the supply that they themselves need to successfully build models. Up next, the resource crunch that is driving desperate decisions. It's as if we never left because it kind of looks like we're right where we started, we think. We have an update for you from the recent US China trade talks. It appears that we have a temporary truce, and here are the details that are currently available. Keep in mind, this may change by the time you watch this. China has agreed to reduce its tariff on US goods to 10%. The United States tariff will be at 55%, according to the president. China has also granted a limited number of export licenses for rare earths. China controls 80% of the supply of rare earth minerals. This is a group of 17 critical minerals used by tech companies, automakers, and others. And unfortunately, that gives China a lot of leverage in this negotiation. The US also agreed to reverse some of the recently implemented visa restrictions for Chinese students. And concerningly, according to experts, we may have also agreed to make concessions to national security export controls for the very first time. If so, that's likely to be a huge deal. Remains to be seen how this shakes out and how long this truce might be in place. And given that uncertainty, this news is unlikely to shake loose any of the dollars that have been sidelined since all of this trade drama started in April. Every crisis feeds the next. As we talk through all of this, the thing I want to leave you with is that our innovation ecosystem is clearly under a lot of strain from multiple directions, particularly given the recent and extensive cuts to scientific R&D here in the US. So stay tuned. We'll have a lot more to discuss with you soon. Thank you for joining us.
Thanks for listening. If you liked what you heard, leave us a review, subscribe to the show, or check out another episode. We appreciate your support.